Hello everybody, Jan Michael here. I just got done playing some Splatoon 2, which is the sequel to the game that originally came out on the Wii U a couple of years ago. And now that I've had plenty of time with the game, it's time to ask the question, does Splatoon 2 suck? Well, let's find out. I guess the easiest way to review this would just to say, you ever play the first Splatoon? You ever play the first Splatoon? It's pretty much just that. This is it. Okay, to be fair, there is a couple of things that they did add to the game to kind of make it a sequel, but not really. Okay, let's dive in one little section at a time here. First and foremost, story mode. Story mode is pretty much the exact same thing story-wise as it was to the first one. The Zap Fish has been stolen. You have to kind of go out and tackle on these different challenges that lead up to a boss fight as you kind of make your way trying to find that great Zap Fish and pretty much rescue or save the day. What is different here is that the different levels are actually a good way to kind of get you introduced into what Splatoon is all about. It actually lets you use different weapons that was not available in the first one, so it's a good way to, I would say, maybe use it as a tutorial just to kind of get the hang of it. If you've never played Splatoon before, this is pretty much a good mode to get started out in. So while overall the story might not be anything new or expand upon the lore of the game, it is a nice way to kind of get you introduced into the world itself. The meat of the game is all in its multiplayer modes though. Now if you've never played Splatoon before, let me lay it down for you. So the object of the game is to cover the field with as much of your colored ink as possible. It's always 4v4, and at the end of the round, whatever team has the most of their colored ink on the floor is the winner. Now there's a little bit more to the game than just splattering the ground, because there's different armor pieces you can put on and there's different weapons at your disposal with side weapons as well. So it all comes down to how well you can utilize it, how well you can communicate with your teammate, although it's all done with just in-game voice options. There's no real chat options, which is a disappointment, but you know, just being able to really find out where your teammates are and where then help is needed goes a long way to making it feel like a lot more than what its initial concept is. Now you can attack other people as well, but it doesn't really add to your score or anything like that. The best you can do is kind of take them out of the action for a little bit, but the main focus is on splattering the ground with as much of the ink as possible. And if you focus too much on just taking out the opposing enemy, it's not ultimately going to help you out. And it's a fun little mode. As I said, there's different armor pieces, there are different weapons that you can use, and it all adds to the complexity of what the game initially seems to be just a simple concept. Now that mode is usually the first thing that you can do in the game for about the first 10 levels. After that, you actually start to go into the rank matches, and rank matches is where it really starts to open up other modes. There's things like a tower mode where you splat your color of ink onto a tower and the tower starts moving towards the opponent's side of the field. Once it reaches there, you win. But of course your opponents are also trying to do the exact same thing. There's another mode where you actually get this statue and you have to take it over to the opponent's side of the field as well, and that's how you win that match. These can be very intense matches, so these are really where you can see like the expert players start to really enter or really show what they can do. And then there is one more mode where it's a territorial mode where you have to ink the area and try to hold on to that area for as long as possible. So these are just add more modes. It's not just the whole inking the field. There's different things that you can do as well. And once you level up to a B- rank, you can actually go into league battles, which is really where people that's pretty much where you're gonna go with your group of friends. You can team up with strangers as well, but this is really where communication is key, where you gotta know the ins and outs of the game. This is pretty much for the top tier players. New to the game is a new mode called Salmon Run. This is actually separate from the main multiplayer plaza. You have to go through into a different side, a different part of the map. And it's a horde mode, if you will, where you and again 3 other people are fending off waves of salmon, mutated salmon, and you're collecting eggs and filling it into this bucket. Now every round you have a quota to fill. You have to collect a certain amount of eggs, and the weapons are all randomized, so it adds a little bit of a challenge depending on what weapon it is that you have at your disposal. And there's also other really cool things, like sometimes like the mist can roll in, so your visibility is a little bit low, and the different bosses in there require different strategies to beat. I gotta admit, it's a fun mode. I'm usually not a fan of horde modes. I know it's very popular, but it's something that I personally didn't like, but I gotta admit, I spent more time in Salmon Run than I thought I would, so hey, kudos to them for introducing a brand new mode to the game that's a lot of fun. Apart from the new Salmon Run, there's new weapons at your disposal, like the Splat Dualies, which is cool because as you're shooting, you can actually roll out of the way. It's a new ability. Of course, armor pieces are around, and this is really where, again, the strategy of the game really shines through. The game seems simple, but different armor pieces can give you different abilities, such as the ability to not run out of ink as fast, or being able to swim as a squid through your ink a lot faster. And different armor pieces, again, sometimes can unlock different abilities. So while maybe one armor piece only has one special ability, you can buy another armor piece that will unlock 3 special abilities. And the first ability is pretty much what you want it to be, while the other 2 are random. But let's say you don't like those 2 random things. Well, there's a character on the side that you can actually get them to pretty much wipe away those special abilities, so you can try to kind of re-roll what you want. And given enough time and money, you can actually even choose the abilities that you want, which really add to the customization. So as I said, the game actually has a lot more depth than you might think. So with all this great stuff, you're probably thinking, hey, Splatoon 2 like pretty much is leagues above the first, right? Fixed all of the problems. Not really. There are still a few little complaints that I have about the game. First and foremost, the biggest one. This is the biggest problem I had with the first game, and I really wish they had fixed it with this one, which is depending if you're just gonna do regular battles, or if you're gonna do ranked battles or the league battles, you're always limited to 2 maps for a set amount of time. And it's always randomized, so you don't really get to choose the map that you want to play in. And it just becomes really tedious, especially during the first 10 levels, where all you can really do is the initial mode for Splatoon. Why didn't they just open it up to all the maps? This is a baffling, a choice system. I don't understand why they did this, but it makes the game feel a lot more tedious. I think people that don't have enough patience will probably leave the game before they even get to the ranked matches, just because they'll probably get bored of playing the same maps over and over. So just opening it up to the other opening up the other maps right away could have gone a long way into maybe not having that repetition hit so early on. The second problem I have with it is the central hub is so dull. I never have really any fun running around this little area of the city, and you are supposed to be in a city. Why not making a lot bigger? Now why not have secret areas to explore? The central hub is where you go to buy your weapons, where you go to enter the multiplayer mode, to enter the story mode, and the only real cool thing about it is you can see other people's avatars in the central hub kind of walking around. And a lot of people actually do their own art style, so you can actually see the art as you're walking around, and it's really interesting because I like seeing other people's art style. I like seeing the clever things that people can come up with. But apart from that one little thing, it's really boring. Most of the time I'm beelining to my destination, and yeah, I really would have liked to have seen more of a bigger hub world, or more secret hub world, more things to do. because I don't know, it's just really bland, especially because you're supposed to be in a city. So does Splatoon 2 suck? No, it doesn't. I actually found myself enjoying it a lot. There is a lot more to the game than originally you might think there is. So if you're going in going, oh, there's just one mode splattering the ground, no, give it time. You're gonna actually get other modes that are a lot of fun as well, and I definitely recommend staying with. Now, if you played the first Splatoon and you weren't a fan of it, this is pretty much just Splatoon 1. So don't expect anything different. It's not going to change your mind if you weren't a fan of the first one. But if you haven't played Splatoon, this is a good time to jump in. Ultimately, I don't think there's enough there to really warrant it being a sequel. Why didn't they just do Splatoon Deluxe like they did with Mario Kart? I don't know. I think that would have probably been the better option. But hey, it's still a game I can recommend. And no, I don't think it sucks. But ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, that is up for you to decide. If you have played the game, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And on a side note, what the fuck am I doing reviewing games now? So, let me just let you know, guys, this channel was never intended to just be about movie reviews. Although, you're probably going to see those a lot more than games, since games take a little bit more time to really go through. But movies and games I grew up with all my life. They've been a big part of it, and they will continue to be a big part of it. I've been playing games since I was 4, and I've been watching movies probably even longer than that, or don't quite remember my earlier days with movies, but you know what? I'm just happy to share with my opinion. And who knows, maybe I'll move over to anime reviews too, although that might be a bit too much for the time being. But guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did like it, let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And guys, like always, until next time, have a good one.